Let me say hello. Both of us here will say hello to Jon on this afternoon program. He's a Hall of Famer, Cooperstown. Jon, nice to talk. Alana Rizzo and yours truly. How are you today? Okay?
I'm great, and it's an award that the Hall of Fame gives out. Not really a Hall of Famer, but I appreciate you saying it.
You deserve it.
You're a Hall of Famer to us, Jon. You're a Hall of Famer to us. What's been your take so far in the start that the Giants have gotten off to so far? Really kind of picking up where they left off.
Well, in some ways, they are picking up where they left off. The Giants' season, I think, the foundation is the starting rotation, and that has been lights out good. Alex Cobb makes his second start today in Game 1. But they're also missing some pieces, some important pieces, some left-handed bats, notably the veteran Tommy La Stella, and also Lamont Wade Jr., who was so good for the Giants last year. His teammates gave him the nickname Late Night Lamont because he had so many big late game hits. So they don't have those moves that they were able to make so often last year. The writers in San Francisco used to call them Gabe Kapler's line changes. They'd switch from a left-hander to a right-hander, and all of a sudden there might be 3 left-handed pinch hitters in one inning, depending on where the lineup was. So he's not really able to do all of that. All of the lefties on a given day against a right-handed pitcher are in the starting lineup.
Jon, I thought maybe a little hangover off losing Game 5 to L.A. and but maybe everybody doubting the Giants. Their number in Las Vegas with the win total was not that high. A lot of people thought, let me see you do it again, and maybe that galvanized. They had an injury right out of the gate with Longoria, but maybe that galvanized a little bit. We'll show you if you doubt us. Anything with that intangible? Let me hear.
Well, I think that for the Giants, it's about the process. It sounds like a cliche, but they're all about that. The guys do their work, and it's a very tight-knit clubhouse, and everybody is rooting for everybody else. It's almost what I call the Hunter Pence effect. They used to talk about Hunter Pence. He'd be in the dugout and looking out at the game. You thought, man, he looks so intense in there. Well, he was sitting there visualizing one of his teammates who was at the plate launching one right then. He was trying to send out those good vibes to him. So that is the kind of close-knit group that they have, and everybody they frown on being selfish in there. So I don't think that they really are concerned about that at all. The fans, for their part, they read the experts' opinions. 78 wins. Maybe 84 wins. I don't see. And the fans get outraged, and maybe some talk show hosts, things like that. But I think the players themselves they don't pay any attention to that at all.
Jon, one thing the Giants had last year is they just had that it factor, that way to come from behind, the way to get the one-run win, that type of thing. Already in 7 of their wins this year, 4 of them have come from behind. Do you think they have that same it factor so far early on in this season?
I have 2 words for you. Thairo Estrada. Now, he's a former Yankee, and there's a cool story, where Buster Posey, when the Giants played the Yankees in interleague play in San Francisco, and probably 2019, whenever it was, and Thairo had been brought up and, in fact, played left field for the first time in his big league career in one of those games. And Buster Posey made the comment to Farhan Zaidi after one of those games, says, that guy Thairo Estrada, keep an eye out for him if you can get him, because I love his swing and I love the way he plays. So it was a little scouting tip from Buster Posey, and they did. I think Farhan had it in his mind, probably himself, to go after Thairo anyway. But he did really well for the Giants last year when he came up, and he kept going back and forth, but was always ready, can play a lot of different positions. But right now he's leading the team in RBIs. He's hitting the long ball. He's got real thunder in that bat. The Giants think that this could really be for real, and that this guy could be an outstanding player for many years to come.
Well, listen, last year they hit 1 million home runs, and he hit a lot of pinch hit home runs too. So if they start hitting the long ball again like they did a year ago with this pitching, away we go. Is there some thoughts of concern? Are you a little worried about Rendon's health? Are you a little worried about whether Alex Cobb can keep this going? Is there any concern? DeScalfani hasn't been great in his 2 starts. Is there any concern that you see with San Francisco after 9 games, Jon?
Well, I think that for the powers that be, there's always concern that are they going to stay healthy, because they've opened the year not healthy. So, and yet they've opened the year doing very well. But I think that there's a lot more offense to come than what they've shown so far, because the offense has been kind of sputtering along. And they had a really good day in Cleveland on Sunday. But even with that, I think they're only hitting 236. So they've had 3 different games where they've hit 3 home runs, and then they hit 2 more on Sunday. And they've had a lot of games where they haven't hit any home runs at all, and haven't been many runs scored when they haven't hit the long ball. So they're kind of dependent on that. But they also have some guys off to very slow starts, Yastrzemski, Ruff, and a handful of others that I think they're very confident that they're going to get it going and be just fine. So I think the Giants, I don't think they're that concerned about the offense. I think that there's a lot of offense there, and a guy who has been swinging about really well the last few days, just in time for coming back to New York, Wilmer Flores. So I'm excited for Wilmer, because I think this is a place he really likes to do well, and he had a lot of great days and nights here over the years as a Met.
John, it is cold there. It is windy there. The screen toppling down behind you. A doubleheader today. You have Cobb Webb and McGill Scherzer. How big of a measuring stick is this doubleheader so far early in this season?
Yeah. Well, I hope they bring the heat. That's all I'm thinking about. But I got my dry eye thing going. I'm not all that emotional about it. I'm all teary-eyed though. But I don't know how they do it. It was 35 degrees at game time Sunday in Cleveland, which, since they kept track of that stuff, that's the coldest game time temperature that the Giants have had in the last 32 years. And yet they scored 8 runs, and because that's a day where it's not going to generally be good for a hitter. Pitchers like to pitch in those kind of days generally, because the hitters hate it. But the Giants did really well, so we'll see how they do here. McGill has added a changeup since last year, and he pitched well against the Giants last year when they saw him. So he's off to a great start and really tough on left-handed hitters. And Scherzer, he's one of the best in the game. So that's a great matchup, early season. This series is a great matchup early in the season. The Mets 7-3, the Giants 7-2, 2 really good teams, great pitching both sides, and a couple of really good matchups here today. So I'm looking forward to the Game 2 matchup, though. Those are big name matchups, although Webb maybe not a big name around the country, but he will be.
He's good.
He's going to be an all-star, and yeah, he's good. And hey, you sound a little bit like Phil Rizzuto right there. Oh, White. He's good.
He's good, yeah. You Huckleberry, yeah, excellent job. Well done, John. Stay warm today. Enjoy your 2 ball games. Always a pleasure to talk. Thanks very much, pal.
Doubleheader, 2 games for the price of 1, an old-timey doubleheader. So I'm looking forward to it.